Right. So the idea of what you are doing is making sure that you get immersed in language. You start learning a language, and the only thing that I will encourage you, the only thing I can advise you is a session will is like a small catalyst. A session is like a small push you need. You know, when I was teaching my daughter how to ride a bicycle, and I will share some lesson on that. So remind me on the group that please, the biggest lesson I learned, and this is what I want to talk about. The slide that is representative. How did she learn? For the first 3 weeks, my daughter did not learn how to cycle. You know why she did not learn? Can you tell me? Just I want answers from everybody, and that's the whole idea of this session. Don't worry about wrong answers, worry about not answering. So I was teaching Juveria how to ride a cycle, but she did not learn how to ride a cycle for 3 weeks until I realized my mistake. What was the
She have
problem?
the fear, maybe,
Okay.
and she is not confident that she can ride.
Okay, very nice, Mashal. I'm proud that you're answering. So the fear and the confidence, who had the fear? My daughter had the fear, or I had the fear?
You have that she'll means fall.
Very true. Very nice.
As
So
a father, no, means father. Sometimes father daughters are very means in touch, so they'll
yes,
think the daughter should not fall.
absolutely. So
We
Mashallah,
will
you
not
know all
allow our
fathers are
child
safe.
to play outside. Sometimes they'll say you'll fall. The fear we have.
Jazakallah khair. Very, very correct. You know, the problem was not with my daughter or children. The problem is with us. And I'll give you two lessons from this conversation. Number one, I was not letting go of the handle. You know, पीछे से जो पकड़ते हैं बच्चों को, I was not letting go. So as she was riding, I was pushing along with her. And because of me not letting go of the rod or handle of the cycle, she never learned how to cycle. I had the fear and I was not letting go. The first lesson I'm giving you in learning a language is remove your fear of being judged by others. Today, as we speak, it's absolutely okay. As trainers, as mentors, the only role I have here, Brother Arif has here, is to guide you, to coach you. Nobody is here to make fun of each other, isn't it? So forget your pronunciation, forget your accent, forget your grammatical mistake. Speak up. And this is the beauty of what we are doing. This is the way we are speaking. You know, sometimes we realize that we don't have to use GRE words. You don't have to use huge words. All you have to do to learn a language is to speak in simple, easy language. Fear. The fear of letting go stops us from learning a lot of things. Number one. In fact, there's a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam which says, "Do not be shy because Allah is not shy." As in, don't be shy in asking your doubts and your concerns. And this is an encouragement for you to learn. Number two, the second lesson from the cycling part is children learn better than adults because they're not afraid. They will fall down, they'll cry, but the next day they'll again pick up and run. You know, you all are mothers here, you all are teachers here. Have you seen a child falling down and say, okay, I'll never start walking or running because I fell down once? ऐसा होता तो कभी भी कोई नहीं सीखता. We are the problem. We are the impediment. We are the hurdle for the students to learn. A lot of times schools come to us, and I spoke to, Farid Bhai or Asif Bhai, and I tell them the problem is not the students or not even the environment. The problem is the confidence we as grown-ups need to learn. Yes? So we are expected first to remove the barriers of fear, and then we are the ones who have to grow to teach our children to learn anything. And the easiest thing to learn is a language like English, and I'll give you some of the strategies what we can do. So there we are. We all have to keep learning, and as Indians, we are polyglot. We already know so many languages. English is by default the business language of the world. So why do we learn? We learn English because it's the Queen's language, as they call it. The Britishers taught us, but today, everything in the world, from movies and Netflix to books and self-esteem, is all dependent. Social media, so many things are based on a language, single language. No language ever in the world has dominated the world's attention as much as English. As much as I love, all the other languages, and I love Arabic as a divine language, English has captured the imagination of people, which is why we know we can do it, we must do it. What are the 4 components of learning English, or for that matter, any language? Can anybody tell me? Teachers here? What are the 4 components of learning a language? You give me good answers, I'll make sure that, we will play a beautiful game here. So this is recall. Just tell me, it's absolutely
First is
easy.
reading.
Listening, okay, excellent.
Speaking.
Speaking.
LSRW.
Yes, go ahead, absolutely. LSRD, LSWR. Tell me the 2 more. Reading, good, good. Writing. Fantastic.
Listening, speaking, reading, writing.
MashaAllah, wonderful. Alhamdulillah. Shall I give credit to your coach, Arif, or shall I give you credit directly? So, ये तो पहले से हमको पता था. Don't worry, it's a combination. No, you don't have to answer. It's a rhetoric question. It's a basic thing. So sometimes very common knowledge is what we need to do. So the more you listen, the better you become. I'll give you my own personal example of learning Arabic. Most of us have started learning a language and we give up midway. The same goes with Arabic. 90% of the Muslim world those who actually started learned Arabic and they gave up very easily. And the problem was we did not learn the immersion technique. What is immersion technique? If you ask me my vocabulary for Arabic is very good. I can, and most of us can do that, isn't it? I can tell you what is sun in Arabic, what is moon. So Shams, Qamar, Najm. We can talk about all of it. As-sama, the sky. Talk about things in the house. I can tell about Misbah, the light, Mirwa, the fan, Kitab, Funduk, restaurant, Mustashfa, hospital. We know Duktu, we know so many words in Arabic. Animals, I can talk about Asad, Hassan, Timsa, and we'll not do an Arabic session, but we know so many words. The problem was I did not hear enough Arabic. I could not join them into a sentence. If I have to say that switch on the light, I know light means misbah, but I don't know how do I say switch on the light. One of the problem was we did not listen to enough Arabic. Communication of the language. So a lot of you know English. I know English teachers in good schools, probably Urdu schools where they come from, they know better English grammar than most of the English teachers in Cambridge schools. Yes. Sometimes it's very surprising, but that's true. But they don't know how to frame a better sentence than the Cambridge teachers. Our role here is to push you to make better sentences. A lot of you can speak, but you don't frame sentence. First 2 things will help you frame sentence. Listening. The more you listen, the better you become. Listen to audio tapes. So as I speak, my role here is to give you a recap of what 8 weeks can do. So tell me 3 areas where you listen to English a lot. What are the 3 areas where you listen to a lot of English? Go ahead.
Audio clips.
Audio clips. Video.
Somebody speaking, the speaker, yes. We can listen.
Very nice. So today, what I'm doing is you're listening to me. The more you listen, the better you will become. Unfortunately, today, because of the subtitles, we don't listen to any of the audio in movies. We only read. Correct? So you watch an English movie, you watch Spider-Man No Way Home, you're actually reading most of the title. You're watching Ertugrul Bey, it's in Turkish, but you're reading the title. We have become good readers. The last part, number 4, is actually better now. I think this is a good area of improvement by watching movies. I don't say to Farid bhai, Daud bhai ne bola, bahut movies dekho. But because of subtitles, because of that, our reading skill have improved. What is the problem is what we are lacking is a listening skill. Ye maar kha raha hai. This has gone wrong. I want you to make a conscious effort to listen. Why don't you go and enroll or download TOEFL exercises? I don't know if I can write it, TOEFL. Test of English as foreign language. One of my goal for everybody is to pass this English exam. TOEFL is a brilliant, easy exam, but they have a lot of listening opportunities. Download it, YouTube mein available hai. Go ahead and take these TOEFL tests, please, so that you improve your English communication. Right? Are you all with me? Am I able to explain?
Yes, sir.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes, sir.
Then make an effort to speak. I saw in the group, I've been following very regularly, that you all are making a lot of effort for speaking, but it's still, you have to push yourself a little more. I saw the tongue twisters as a good game. It opens up your communication skills, it opens up, it gives you confidence, but still, I feel a little more effort on your speaking is where you have to give. So you can, if you are shy, as I said, create your own group of sisters. Let some of your elder, some of your senior teachers become mentors, and then use an opportunity to speak on some topic. And I always say, take up a topic you enjoy. For example, we had Ashura 1 month back, a few days back. Why don't you use Ashura and speak 5 minutes or 3 minutes about Ashura? Everybody. And we use a concept called TPS. Think, pair and share. अगर मुझे 5 मिनट सबका सुनना है तो शायद मैं नहीं सुन पाऊंगा. I'll get bored. But if I say that Sister Khadija and Sister, Sister Zinat for that matter, one of you become a pair, you listen to her and you listen to her. The moment you do that, everybody improves. Everybody. You are listening to somebody and you're speaking also for somebody. Can you use this strategy? It will be brilliant if you use the strategy. Right? There are also podcasts available, very nice audiobooks available for small stories. You must listen to a story you already know. And today I will test how many stories you know. Let's say some Aesop fables, some simple stories. All of you know Hare and the Tortoise? You all know the story of Hare and the Tortoise, right? The rabbit and the tortoise, as you know, or the turtle. All you have to do is listen to the same story in an audiobook said by a better speaker. Now you improve. First task is you tell the story in your own words. Then you listen to the audiobook and say, what did I miss out? How did the expression come in? Instead of saying the rabbit, they use the word hare. Oh, vocabulary became better. Instead of saying rabbit was first, they said rabbit was prompt. Suddenly certain ideas will change the way you speak. And good part is being recorded. I like you to take one strategy in the many strategies I'm telling you, implement that. And finally, the two things that I recommend is writing and reading. The more you are able to write your words perspective wise, it's better you become. But my focus right now is 1 and 2, listening and speaking. Alhamdulillah, these are self-motivated part, writing and reading. Listening and speaking is something you will use a team member to start with. This becomes my process. I'll give you some time to absorb. मैंने जो कहा, can I quickly use a chat format when I unshare this, and you write down what is one thing, one strategy that you like or you can implement immediately. Let's do that. Go ahead. Write down in your chat, speak up, whatever you feel like. Among the strategies I told you, one strategy you might like. Oh, mashallah, I'm seeing good team members, Sister Mubashira, Sister Jashina, everyone's there, alhamdulillah. So tell me, what are the strategies you can implement immediately? I expect at least 3 answers in the group. Alhamdulillah, I'm very happy. Jazakallah khair. Okay, listening to a podcast or a story. Yes, Jazakallah, Sister Mubashira. Listening to any audio, and I'll add a strategy, the TPS part, that find a pair. No, you don't have to. If you really are interested, all you have to do is find a pair. Okay, sister, I will send an audio message to you. You send an audio message back to me. Let's review each other's audio. That's all. That's all you do. The effort you need to make is find a partner. We have something called Fajr Buddies. Did you have it? In college, we had Fajr Buddies. MashaAllah, I studied from Crescent Engineering College in Chennai. And one of the best examples my friend used to say was a friend who will wake you up or you wake them up. I'm saying reading buddies. I'm saying language buddies. That's all. Yes, sister, TDF or TOEFL. If I said about test of English, if that's what you meant, TOEFL is test of English as foreign language. I don't want to do the test. Test is maybe what 4,000-5,000 rupees. वो बाहर जाते हैं तो वो test compulsory हो जाता है. What I want to do is find TOEFL resources, find these resources on YouTube or download it and listen to them. They're fantastic audios, like passages are there. You will be first listening to a passage. It's like a comprehension. Somebody will tell a story. Uske baad, you have to answer the question. For example, Sam was going to the market. Sam wanted to buy vegetables. Her mother has sent her on this errand. So now the question will be, where was Sam going? If you listen well, you know what I said. Where was Sam going? All of you sisters, I told a small 3-line story. Market. Who sent Sam to the market? Somebody sent Sam, right?
Mother, maybe.
Mother, maybe. No. My story, of course, I swear it very well. It's the mother in the story. And then I use a difficult word. One difficult word I use. What is the meaning? What is the word I use? Then tell me what is the meaning. It's not difficult, but maybe it's a new word. The word I used was errand, right? Now, the only thing I'm asking is what's the meaning of errand? And that's all. What do you think? Anyone? Okay, I'll allow you to Google and tell me the answer. Absolutely fine. Why should I give all the answers? Go ahead. Google it and tell me. Okay. Right. So errand looks very similar to error. So that's why perhaps the mistake word came in. Yes, what's errand, sister?
Short journey.
Fantastic. Absolutely. Chota sa kaam. That's all. An errand is a small journey you undertake to complete a task. This is what TOEFL will do. TOEFL will give you a good passage. You have to comprehend, listening skills, comprehension skills, and then there will be question and answers. These are the strategies. Thank you, sisters. You gave me the right answer. That's what it is about. So the more you learn, the better you become. And that is the purpose of these mentoring sessions. That is what I'm asking you. I'm expecting that the sessions or the course may get over. You'll start to join a new one, but your learning, it should be the beginning of your learning, not the end of learning. Usually course के साथ हमारी पढ़ाई खत्म हो जाती है. आरिफ सर चले गए, किताब बंद करो, अब क्या करना है? This is what we complain in schools. बच्चे सर homework के अलावा कुछ नहीं करते हैं because you don't tell them the strategies. Our role is give the strategies to each other. Step 2 क्या हो सकता है? Once you start a process, that is when your training programs become very valuable. Now, inshallah, over the course of some time, I would love to visit back to Port Blair. I have got some work, and I think most of you know I live in Lamba Line. That's where my house, or Marine Hills, where my relatives are. So I will come and meet you all. Arif sir should come to Port Blair. We should invite him with his family. He's got 3 daughters as well. Alhamdulillah. Arif, Port Blair is a beautiful place.
Waiting to visit.
Absolutely, Arif. Mashallah, now I believe crocodiles have come in Mandur also. Is that right, sisters? Or is it rumors?
Yeah, everywhere crocodile now.
Crocodiles are everywhere.
Can't
Arif,
go to the beaches.
right. Arif, कोई तुमको बुलाना नहीं चाहता है. हम लोग already डरा रहे तुमको folder वाले.
They'll be disappointed eating me. There is nothing, no muscles, only bones.
Very interesting, Arif. Okay. So Alhamdulillah, the next part of your learning happens when you know your language. Every training, what I wanted to bring out this, the reason I use this presentation, not a standard presentation, is this is a training I'm very keen for you to do. It's called How Do You Apply Bloom's Taxonomy? Every teacher who has done a B.Ed has studied Bloom's Taxonomy. Ask them what is Bloom and they are clueless because we learned it, we never implement it. If you realize, the first 2 steps of Bloom is again based on language development. To remember and to understand. Comprehension is the key here. This is what we are doing. If your language skills are poor, you can't go up on the scale of Bloom. My point here is not to teach you Bloom taxonomy. Bloom is very good to make your assessments, make your examination, test a child. And the basis of Bloom again is a good language. So you see, why do we emphasize on learning English? Because you have to learn to set better papers, to ask good questions. And this is the first of the training, inshallah, which I'll be giving. Then there's MI theory. My favorite, multiple intelligence theory, Dr. Gardner from Harvard School of Education. Excellent theory. Again, the basis of the theory, the first intelligence is an intelligence called linguistic intelligence. You see here, it is basically word smart. And this is a program which is one of the most popular training. My idea is the better you are with words, the better we are with language. It's the basis of all learning. It is called mother smartness. You know, it is a basis of all the other smartness, not necessarily. You could be some other smart also. You could be a Sachin Tendulkar or another cricketers who don't speak English. But as teachers, this is an integral part. Dusre profession, you can be a cricketer, swimmer, it doesn't matter. Do you know David Beckham? Sisters, do you know who David Beckham is?
No.
You never heard of David Beckham? Arif, do you know David
No.
Beckham?
Yes, Dawood bhai, I know with strategy, and there is a song also, Bend It Like Beckham.
Oh, lovely. That's the Beckham you're talking to. Absolutely good. I want you all to find who David Beckham is. David Beckham is an Indian. Now you'll be very surprised. You know, why am I suggesting is sometimes finding a different answer is also fun. David Beckham is from Andaman Nicobar. He has represented India in the Commonwealth Games. He's, I think, a rower. The David Beckham that most of the world knows is he's a footballer. Alhamdulillah, you know, this time he was felicitated by the government, by the LG, and one of my college friends who's a police officer in Port Blair. So the name David Beckham came. I just suggested, the idea is, why am I talking about David Beckham? Kahan se baat shuruaat hoti hai? Is the fact that the more you expand, the better you become. Your choices, synonyms are like David Beckham. मैं अब 2 डेविड बेकम को जानता हूं, आप लोग अभी तक एक को जानते थे या एक को भी नहीं जानते थे. The moment you become more linguistic intelligent, the better you are expressing yourself. Even a sports person who reads is a better sports person than the one who does not read. MS Dhoni, Virat Kohli, you know, they read so much, they listen so much, they become better. Language is the basis of learning. And this is what I am encouraging you to do. So my strategy number 2 with you is, please make sure your trainings are a starting, but every training, the basis is good language communication. Good English is the basis of learning. Step number 3 or part 3, when you have learned, how will students learn from you? Well, students will learn because you are better. Dramas, public speaking. You know, when I said drama, I was consulting a school in Delhi. और दिल्ली में ये स्कूल ने नुक्कड़ नाटक का कॉन्सेप्ट शुरू किया. सिंपल नुक्कड़ नाटक, simple concepts of role play, actually on the road, about not using plastic, about dowry, about respecting the country, about cleanliness. And they started doing it in Urdu, Hindi, and English. And suddenly the students were more confident. If you are confident, remember my first 2 things of cycling, the better you become, the better your students will become. Public speaking, you know, the worst fear in the world is death. That is number 2. Number 1 fear is public speaking. We are afraid, and our students learn from us. Writing, poems, so many areas you can learn in English. If you encourage your students, then you will learn with them and for them. The moment, see, poems, the world of poems, हम लोग जो कहते हैं small, where the mind is without fear, from Rabindranath Tagore, or I have miles to go before I sleep, Robert Frost. Encourage your students to find good poems and start learning with them. This is a beginning of great learning. What I will do is I will take you through a little game now. हमने बहुत बातें कर ली. I've given a lot of ideas to you, and one thing I want to do is learn. Start learning as further as you can. One of the best ways is stories. If this session ends, अगर ये abruptly end हो जाता है, just rejoin the same link. Don't worry, I have not we started at 1:45, 2:45. We'll finish probably at the same time for an hour's time. So we have got 15-20 minutes more. And inshallah, in the game, you will not realize the time. Agar band ho jata hai session, rejoin the same link if that's okay with everybody. One of the best ways
Yes.
to start learning, one of the best ways to pick up knowledge is by reading lots of storybooks. Teachers must read storybooks. One of the recommendation stories I can tell you is Roald Dahl. Roald Dahl, he is called the Shakespeare of stories, children's stories, children literature. शेक्सपियर की 2-3 किताबों का नाम बताइए मुझे, प्लीज गो अहेड. Something about Shakespeare. I'm sure you know about something of Shakespeare. Yes. 2-3 things that Shakespeare has written. 2-3 stories the world knows about Shakespeare. So you can tell me at least 2-3 stories.
Pride and Prejudice, is it?
Okay, Pride and Prejudice. That's Jane Austen. Jane Austen is also a very famous story. But good. I like the name, but Jane Austen is different from Shakespeare. Common ones. वो सबसे मशहूर दुनिया की
Cinderella, Sleeping Beauties.
Sorry, again.
Cinderella, Sleeping Beauties.
Okay, those are Aesop fables.
Tales.
Okay, those are Aesop fables. Those are Hans Christian Andersen. Very nice. I like the way you're telling stories. Shakespeare थोड़ा बेचारा नाराज हो जाएंगे. World's most famous speaker.
Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and
Many
Juliet.
novels also in literature we are reading.
Starting of it.
Novels.
Absolutely acceptable, Arif sir. It is wonderful to see you interact. I'm happy. Shakespeare has something called Tempest. The Taming of the Shrew, King Lear. They're big names, but I'm sure everybody in the world has heard of Romeo and Juliet, right? That's Shakespeare. So Roald Dahl is called Shakespeare of children literature. मतलब उसकी इतनी तारीफ है कि every child should read about Roald Dahl. As a teacher, you must read. I'm sure you would have seen a movie. अगर नहीं है तो please Google it and search a movie called the BFG. Amitabh Bachchan in India, it was released in Hindi also with Amitabh Bachchan's voice. BFG is Big Friendly Giant. There is Matilda. There is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. ये हमने सुना होगा कहीं ना कहीं नाम. Very famous. If not, teachers, I'm requesting you to download these. They're available online. Please watch it with your family and your students. Can I give you one assignment then?
One
Just
minute.
anyone.
Repeat.
These are very popular stories of Roald Dahl, the BFG, Matilda, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. They're actually movies also. So my request to you is, please download, watch the movie and watch it alone and then watch it with your students also, and then give them the book to read. Buy a Roald Dahl book. You must read one Roald Dahl book as a teacher. It will help you improve. Trust me, Roald Dahl session karunga and I'll teach you about him. Yeah, go ahead. You have something to share.
Nothing, sir. I want you to type the name of the author. Type
Okay. What I will do is, as I'm speaking, I will share these slides also with you, and I will type the name, whatever I've suggested, and maybe I will, some of you can just copy. So I have to tell you about the bicycle video, some small things. Letting go of the bicycle, remind me, and then I have to talk about Roald Dahl. Some storybooks that are into movies, I recommend you to watch the movies. It will be useful, and put this in the group so I can also remind you about this. Good enough. What I'll do now is, let me clear this. And if you're on a mobile phone, you can take a screenshot of this. It'll be very helpful. But this is the idea that you are learning. This is the idea that you're growing. A lot of stories are what makes us. Our perspective, our deen is made of stories. Quran is full of stories. Qisasul Anbiya, right? The stories of the Prophet. Lamb to the slaughter. Okay, Sister Jashina, is that Shakespeare? I would wonder. I have not heard of it, but maybe if that's the case. Yes.
Roald
Roald Dahl.
Dahl.
Okay. Is Lamb to the slaughter? Okay, this is something new. I'll also check up. This is very interesting. But do you realize the stories of Noah alayhi salam, Adam alayhi salam, Musa alayhi salam, full Quran itself called Asatirul Awwaleen. This is a story of the people. And you know a very interesting fact, FYI, a trivia मैं आपको बताता हूँ. The word story in English comes from the Arabic word stories. Asatir. Can you decode it? Asatirul Awwaleen. Awwaleen पहले वालों के लिए. Asatir कहानियां पहले वालों के लिए. Asatir slowly gets into change, one form. The word story comes in. A lot of English words have their origin from the Arabic word. And one of them is this word called story. There is an entire module, and hopefully, if I can, I'll take some of these sessions with you. But remember, these are the beautiful, the language, the idea that our language has evolved, we should encourage. No, there are good word books about prophet stories, good language development. I'm telling you, you know the story, you'll enjoy reading it. There's so many Aesop fables. One of the historians says Aesop was nobody else but Luqman Hakim. वलक़द आतैना लुक़मान हिकमा अनिश्कुर लिल्लाह. The same Luqman जिसको अल्लाह ने कुरान में पूरी आयत नाजिल की उनके. There's a surah called Suratul Luqman. So the Aesop fables that we talk about, all the animals speaking, this is from one of the. Aesop was a black Abyssinian slave. Luqman Hakim was a black Abyssinian slave. So much of connection. So stories is what makes us, and that is what we will be doing in the last session. But quickly, I'll run through the resources. So then finally, you come to your school books, choose a good English book, find some books online. We do that on online studies. I have these Nelson and Oxford books, some of the best resources I found. Many books are available, but the idea is keep referring to them. And finally, the Candle life skill books. English is a part of your life skill. Communication skills are part of how you grow. Ask any trainer. Their communication skills help them get more and more training programs. These are the 5 areas you grow. I will end the session now. What I'll do is there are 2 minutes, take a break. We will join again and we'll do a small story quiz before we end. Meanwhile, any questions you can put in the group. Is that good enough?
Yes, sir.
Take a break, drink some water, and join in exactly 3 minutes time.
So we have to leave, sir.
Yeah, we can leave. I'm ending the session. Just rejoin in 3 minutes
Okay.
time. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay.